Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show presents the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. What a pro wrestling show we have for you. Coming off the horrific events of last week when the Young Bucks, the executive vice president, attacked their fellow executive vice president, Kenny Omega, and left him for dead. After last week, Kenny Omega has a special announcement that he wants to personally give the Young Bucks coming up, and we'll talk about that as well. Coming up here on the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. Also, too, a lot going on coming up on Dynamite. You won't believe this. Christian Cage had sent a shocking message that was wrong to for Swerve. The Swerve did not see coming. We'll talk about with Christian and Swerve coming up at Double or Nothing. We'll get that coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Also, too, the city of Detroit and the Detroit Sports Commission wants to bring WrestleMania back to Detroit for a third time. You may remember WrestleMania way back when Macho Man Randy Savage and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat had that instant classic at WrestleMania 3. Who can forget that? As well as the body slam heard around the world. Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant in 1987 at WrestleMania 3. And fast forward 20 years later, when WrestleMania 23 was here, when, I hate to say it, disgraced president, former future president, and Donald Trump went against disgraced WWE owner, former WWE owner, Vince McMahon, the Battle of Billionaires. That was the signature matches, as well as Shawn Michaels and John Cena, Batista, and The Undertaker. Well, I believe WrestleMania will be coming back to Detroit soon for the 20th season. And always ends with a 7. We get the Pro Wrestling Show started with the AEW Dynamite Ring Report, and it starts right now.
Uno, dos, tres.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. Present the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. I'm your host, as always, Kendra Dix here. Glad you joined us here on the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. Join in the conversation using the hashtag ProWrestling here on Connect. Don't forget to subscribe in our social platforms as well as X and Facebook. So don't go nowhere. Sit around and enjoy the show. Let's get things started right now here on the Pro Wrestling Show on what went down tonight on Dynamite. We go from here. Kenny Omega came on our screens, and Kenny Omega had something to say after that brutal, vicious attack from Omega from his fellow AEW co-host and fellow executive vice president. He was part of the Elite. Well, we know Jungle Boy Jack Perry kicked Omega out the group. Jungle Boy Jack Perry came back and he did some vicious claims to Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega wanted to fight back, but he had no battle in this fight with Omega, with the Bucks, Okada, and Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Omega promised Okada that he wants to fight him one-on-one in a match on his own terms, but Okada kind of felt like it was something different about that. Okada don't want to dissipate himself in that situation. Kenny Omega getting brutally beat down by both the new Elite, including his former friends who kicked him out the group. They kicked him out whatsoever. He felt like, hey, why are they doing this to me and stuff? Well, Kenny Omega had a special request that he wanted to send out, that he wanted to fight the Elite, but knowing his condition right now that he ain't gonna be having the chance to fight the Elite. So Kenny Omega sent out the call to have 4 guys go against the Elite and he will officially sign off on it as if the elite will take the challenge. So we know that the elite right now in our anarchy in the arena match, the elite, the new elite, the Young Bucks, the World Tag Team Champions, the Executive Vice Presidents, Okada, the Continental Champion, and Jungle Boy Jack Perry will take on FTR, and two members that FTR choose, or Kenny Omega will be choosing for FTR. So we kind of know what's going on. Kenny Omega's laid down the gauntlet on that. Well, we get to that as well as this. Tony Storm got knocked out on her fanny. Tony Storm got knocked out by Serena Deeb. Tony Storm getting knocked out. We know Serena Deeb and Tony Storm will meet for the women's championship. Serena Deeb sent the message tonight, knocking out Tony Storm, that she wants to become the next AEW women's champion. And that's what she's doing. I thought she nailed it out with some a bunch of roller quarters or something, but that wasn't the case. But we'll see how this is gonna far out throughout, and we'll see how this is gonna go. Well, speaking of that, we see Orange Cassidy with Don Callis. Don Callis trying to convince Orange Cassidy on something. I guess Don Callis trying to tell Orange Cassidy that he don't need Trent Barrella. Orange Cassidy was in action against Trent Barrella, and Trent Barrella still holding that grudge over Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy trying to get over that grudge with him. But I don't know what's going to happen with that. This is just far. This is far from over if you ask me on what's going on. But Orange Cassidy heartbroken about that tonight. And I hope Orange Cassidy gets the measure of revenge he needs to get to and gets his hands on him. But Don Callis making it seem like that. But we'll see. Don Callis trying to mentor, motivate. Don Callis replacing Taz tonight as well. Taz wasn't on commentary tonight. Don Callis took over for Taz on Dynamite. So we could see that be the possibility. Don Callis, he was a good commentator too. He commentated for New Japan Pro Wrestling and Impact. So I mean, I thought it was gonna be the team of Callis and Kevin Kelly, but I guess Kevin Kelly is something to the AEW folks that really pissed them off. So who knows? Also, too, the Bang Bang Scissor Club. They made a appearance tonight as well. The Bang Bang Scissor Club, the undisputed six-man tag team champions, making their claim tonight with Pac. I think we might see Jay White go against Pac one-on-one. Jay White and Pac, that could be a possibility. Jay White and Pac went down, but we'll see how this is going to go. Jay White versus Pac down the road, so we'll see. But Jay White trying to make it known for his presence, what he wants to do with his Bang Bang Scissor Club stuff. Well, we get to this. Christian Cage has an impending championship match at Double or Nothing against champion Swerve Strickland. Swerve and Christian traded jabs at each other, traded insults at each other. Swerve saying that Christian got his peeps, and Swerve said he got his peeps. But Christian made the fact that Swerve he's gonna script Swerve away for everything he have come to Double or Nothing until he takes that title away from him. Well, Swerve tried to reckless into that after he got jumped by his own teammates, Khan and Toro and Brian Cage. What's the point of that? They tagging him and stuff. I don't get that. That just didn't make no sense whatsoever. It wasn't no tension or nothing. They just attacked him from behind out of nowhere. They got to deep down. If they're gonna make something happen, they need to say that, hey, you turned your attention to be a world champion. You left us in the dark and behind, and we felt like we was unslighted. We felt like we didn't get enough attention and stuff. I mean, look at all these men. They don't really need Swerve, and Swerve really don't need them. It was just a matter of necessity when you ask me. But I'm kind of glad they got a group, but they'll eventually turn on each other. That's what they do. They monsters, you know. Swerve should have told them, "Hey, go out there and make me proud, and go out there and do your own thing." But all they doing is they just to me they just like monsters in the monster factory. Remember I told you a couple of years ago Hulk Hogan was serving the monster factory with Andre, King Kong Bundy, Big John Studd, Rick Rude. He was just there to use it as a monster factory. And we'll see how this is gonna go. So we'll see how this is gonna go at Double or Nothing. Can Christian take away the championship away from Swerve doing what he needs to do tonight for Swerve and stuff? So we'll see at Double or Nothing and stuff. Where Chris Jericho find a way to, I guess, with Jericho. One thing about Jericho, he knows thing how to keep himself relevant and stuff, and that's what Jericho does. He found him a new bodyguard, and a lot of people are pointing to the fact that Jericho might have Big Cass as his big show, like he did a couple of years ago, where Jericho may have found his big show, and could they win tag team champions and stuff. I don't know why Jericho want to align himself with Big Cass. I guess I get Big Cass want to align himself with Chris Jericho because Chris Jericho is a legend. Chris Jericho a legend in his own mind and stuff. But this just Jericho using this as a necessity. So we'll see what Jericho gonna do in that. Looking at this, Samoa Joe and Daniel Bryan meditating. We don't know what's going on with Joe and Daniel Bryan meditating, but things might point out to that on what they want to do and how they want to do it. So we'll see how that's going to go. Well, speaking of that, the main event, the Radar Superstar Edge. Edge took on what's this big dude name? Edge got grand interest. He took on one of the House of Black member, Brody King. Edge and Brody King battle each other out throughout the whole entire match. Edge got the win over Brody King by pinning Big Brody King. Brody King was a formidable opponent for the Radar Superstar. The Radar Superstar taking every leaps and bounds he needed to do to get the match. But Edge and Big Brody King, this is far from over between these two. And you know Edge want to do what he needs to do and get a win and get the victory. But Edge making it clear that he knew he's going to be doing what he needs to do. So we'll see. Also, too, Mariah May was in action. I think she was in action for some reason, but you never know. All right. That's gonna end the we can see right here. Edge and Bro King take each other down. Now Mercedes Moné, better known as Sasha Banks, gave a promo about her match against Willow Nightingale. They will meet for the TBS Championship, and Sasha promised that she wants to be the next TNT champion, the next TBS champion. She'll do whatever means necessary to win the TBS Championship from Willow Nightingale. And Willow Nightingale got a lot of problems on her own that she's gonna have to be dealing with soon. So hey, we'll see how this is gonna go. We see this right here. We see that the Young Bucks finally got their you know what opponents. We see Daniel Bryan, FTR, and Eddie Kingston will meet the Young Bucks in Ariel Arena, Anarchy in the area in the arena. We'll see that at Double or Nothing. All right, that ends the pro wrestling show for the NXT for the AEW Ring Report. Let's move over to Wrestling Hot Topics. On Wrestling Hot Topics, we talk about this. We're hearing reports that Raw WWE has signed a $25 million extension with NBC to keep Raw on to January, where we know Raw will be moving from USA to Netflix. So Netflix will begin Raw for 3 hours. And we'll see that coming up next year in January 2025. Raw will move from Netflix, move from USA. It's been the home for the USA Network for nearly 20 years. When Raw came back to USA in 2025, in 2005, and now 20 years later, 2025, they will be heading to a Netflix. This will be the Raw start on USA, and it will end in USA coming January, and start a new season on Netflix and stuff. So, what a way to kick off Raw and stuff. Triple H signed it. Speaking of the game, Triple H, we know that the Detroit Sports Commission has won a place to be to bring WrestleMania to um to Detroit. Last time WrestleMania was in Detroit was at WrestleMania 23, nearly 20 years ago as well. They want to bring it back to 2027 for WrestleMania 43. Makes all the sense in the world. Everything ends with a seven. The first WrestleMania was dated back in Detroit, was dated back in 1987 when history was made, when 93,000 people filled in the Pontiac Silverdome to see WrestleMania 3. Um, See the two big matches. One for the Intercontinental Championship match, Macho Man Randy Savage taking on Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in an instant classic match that many people regarded the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. Randy Savage and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Another match that showcased WrestleMania 3 was for the WWE Championship. Hulk Hogan slamming the Giant, Andre the Giant. The slam heard around the world. Andre the Giant and the immortal Hulk Hogan sold those tickets, those 93,000 seats to get to WrestleMania it is to the day. So amazing. Even to last WrestleMania, the second one when they came back to Detroit, disgraced former President Donald Trump and disgraced former WWE owner Vince McMahon had a feud with the Battle of the Billionaires with Stone Cold Steve Austin as a special guest referee against Lashley and Umaga, who was representing their men and stuff at the time. The disgraced man. It's just crazy. 20 years later, Vince McMahon is a disgrace and Donald Trump is a disgrace. Good God. Um, Then at that time, Shawn Michaels challenged John Cena for the championship, but the Undertaker challenged Batista for the championship. It was the old guard versus the new guard as champions. So we saw that. So who knows? Triple H could be seeing that WrestleMania could be coming to Detroit. The last time WWE had a big event show in Detroit was this past August for SummerSlam. So we could be seeing WrestleMania come back to Detroit in a big way. So we'll be seeing that coming up. All right. We told you about that. But WWE USA signed their contract extension. We know that with reports that Jacob Fatu will be heading into the bloodline. They just don't want Jacob to take away Solo's steam because he's a better promo than Solo. Than Solo goes of himself. So we could be seeing that. Speaking of that, coming up Friday for the SmackDown Ring Report, the Queen of the Ring first round tournament. Nia Jax taking on Piper Niven. Equally impressive women will be taking each other down on SmackDown, so we'll see that. Chelsea Green takes on Indy Hartwell. And Naomi taking on Candice LeRae one-on-one. So we'll see those matches as well. Even to the full circle match between Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. So it's a lot going on here on the Pro Wrestling Show. We got to it all. So we're gonna leave you with FTR, Daniel Bryan, all coming in the ring, trying to get themselves the Young Bucks. So we'll see that coming up sooner rather than later. So for me being Kendrick Dix, saying so long. Thank you for watching the Pro Wrestling.